Hello, you're watching Dead Air Live, and welcome. Today we have a very special treat. We're featuring the collaborative art of Jean Flanagan, who's a member of our group here on Dead Air Live. Welcome, Jean.
Yeah, thanks.
With whom I'll be speaking. And also, it's also the work of Barbara Chelkrupa.
Right.
I'm saying that properly?
Yep, you are.
Okay, good. And you're doing a show called Vox Aeterna, which will be a performance of your art, which is this show is a bit in promotion of that, but this is a whole show about the joy of the collaboration of music and video. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what we just watched. I believe Flamingos was your first piece together with Barbara.
Yep. I started working at SCAT, and I think one of the first things people do when they edit is to edit music videos. And I had gone to high school with Barbara. She and I took all of our music classes that were offered at our high school together. Mm-hmm. She, however, is a musician, and she's really why I'm not a musician.
Well, just out of curiosity, what music classes did they offer in your high school?
Actually, we had electronic music was one of our music classes, but we had music theory, band, orchestra. We didn't have an orchestra. We had a band and a chorus. Mm-hmm. And just every semester, our band director had something in music just to try to create interest. And she was already a real pianist. I mean, I used to skip gym class and lay under the piano while she rehearsed her Bach sonatas and just, she played all that stuff already. I was still diddling around with Are You My Sunshine,
On the xylophone?
Yeah, something like that. But we used to, at theory class, we'd go and we'd do our little counterpoint pieces, and she'd play them, and then as a class we'd decide, that should actually be a ragtime piece, so she'd make it in ragtime and play it again. And so it was great because she was such an accomplished musician then.
Right.
And I was just like, I could study my whole life and become almost as good as she was then.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I'll go on and do other things.
But
Thank
instead,
you
became a video artist.
Right. So I went on and did my sports, and for me, it's the rhythm of the body.
Right.
That's sort of the whole critical thing. So then, when I got to SCAT and started doing video, you're always looking for a music source. Whose music can I use? And I got reconnected up with Barbara at our 20th high school reunion. Mm-hmm. And she gave me one of her CDs of music. And that was cool. And I said, well, can I put this on air at SCAT? And she said, oh, yeah, no problem. So then, without really contacting her or anything, I just started I made the Flamingos video. I had gone to the zoo and filmed the flamingos, and her music worked for it. So that was cool, and I had a couple other musicians I used too. And then I started doing a little bit more with her music, and the next one we're gonna watch is Our Space.
Our Space.
Yep, and that's one where I took some video that was already made and cut it up a little bit, but mostly used what was made and set it to some more of her music.
Fantastic. Well, let's have a look at Our Space. I don't want to pretend I'm an astronaut. So the very intelligent question was asked while we were watching the video by Matt, who's doing the camera for us today, how you were allowed to use that footage. So I thought I'd just ask that question.
Well, it's actually, I have to say, when I first did that footage, I had just used a video that I got out of the library. But it's actually legal to use NASA video because it's a U.S. government entity. And so when you go on their website and you see all those pictures and images, you can use them.
Right.
There's no copyright on them because they're paid for by your own taxes. So one of my goals is to continue that piece and make a full-length video. Because all of Barbara's music is long.
Right.
I mean, neither of those are full pieces.
Right.
Her shortest piece that I've put to video is actually 6 minutes long. Which brings us to one of the long pieces, of which I've done several, which is a 30-minute piece. Called Contemplation of the Unseen.
Right. Which I just call the jellyfish video.
Which really we all call the jellyfish. Even Barbara now calls it the jellyfish video.
Right.
But I made these two videos and another. I actually have another one that I made with her music, and I didn't know if she'd like them. I didn't know if it would interest her or anything, and I just put them all onto video and sent them to her.
Right, and what people, I described the show to some people I was working with today, and they said, do they put the music to the video, or do they do the video to the music? And I said, well, I think primarily they put the video to the music. But it seems like in the beginning, it's a little bit of both.
It's a little bit of both, but
it became a full collaboration. It evolved into a full collaboration, it seems.
At some point, yeah.
It started in the beginning a little like you liked the piece and you wanted to edit something to it, or then you discussed, in the case of these outer space things, it seems like you knew about these shots, you knew about this footage, and she suggested.
And then her music.
Or she performed for that.
No, she's never performed music for my video. All of the music has come off of her CDs that she has 4 CDs. That's my little music collection.
Right.
So I take those CDs, and in these cases, partially because they're short pieces, I sort of go through and I'm like, yeah, there's got something in her music's got to fit this, or our space was that music struck me, and so I really found video to work with that music.
Right.
Which she loved, and we will do a full-length piece of outer space.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I love that stuff.
Yeah. And so which brings us to the next piece, which is really my first let's call it a full-length piece of her music, which is right now playing in the background. We actually did it as in a show a year ago, and what I did, I filmed the jellyfish. I went to the aquarium, and I called up the aquarium. I went to the aquarium and saw this amazing jellyfish exhibit, their jellies exhibit that was beautifully lit and just beautifully made. And they had some so-so music playing in the background. But I went, and then I had to go back and bring my camera. So it's legal to film in the aquarium because it's not art. They're animals. You're filming animals.
Yes.
You're not filming somebody else's art.
They don't need to sign a release.
Right. They don't have to sign a release. So you go and you film. There are some issues around using a tripod there, so you really have to handheld film with handheld there. But I went back and I filmed an hour's worth of jellyfish and other critters that were at the aquarium.
Neat. I love this footage.
I know. I love this. I love
something about it.
It's actually still the centerpiece of our show. It closes the whole concert.
Great. Well, let's take a look at it close up.
Let's watch some more of it.
Okay, we're back.
Hi.
That was lovely.
Oh yeah, it's great fun. So Barbara came up from Connecticut to play that piece for a show, and it really got us started on the whole concept of doing a live concert. And she's willing to play live to video,
Right.
which is an interesting challenge because you never quite play this piece the same twice.
Sure.
But she's just we're enjoying it. We did one concert down in Connecticut, and we're doing one here in Somerville.
Right. The Vox Aeterna.
Vox Aeterna.
Vox
The
Aeterna.
name.
And
that's,
what's the date of the Vox Aeterna concert? Just to mention.
Actually, our name is Vox Aeterna. The concert is the Concert of Serenity.
Ah, the Concert of Serenity.
And it's April 8th. It's Saturday night in a week and a half.
Okay.
And at the Somerville High School.
All right.
So we're just excited about having people see our stuff. It costs $9, so it's $7 for students and senior citizens. So it's certainly not about how much money we can make, but just about getting people to come out and see our stuff.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Now, you wanted to talk a little bit more about this, about the contemplation of the unseen.
Yeah, yeah. The video was interesting because I went out and I filmed all this footage and came back to my house, and I've got 4 CDs of her music, and so I started really punching through and going, nope, that's not the right song. I knew something went with it, and I found it, and it just, even raw footage was just like, okay, I can watch this for hours on end, and the name of the song was Contemplation of the Unseen.
Right.
So the whole
Very
thing
fitting.
juxtaposed. So that really got me started with, I can really do big pieces of her music and use the entire music and the story she tells. And so the next video I want to show is also in the concert. We'll show one part of it. It's called River of Mercy.
River of Mercy. Okay.
Yep. And it tells a story, and I hear the story, and then I go out. Now we've really made the transition into the fact that now I'm taking a piece of her music and I'm going out and finding footage to create the video. Her music is all written. She's not writing to my video yet.
Right.
We've talked about it.
But we're moving away now from just playing around and having happy accidents to really thinking
getting serious
out.
about. And so River of Mercy starts with the rainfall.
Okay. Well, let's watch River of Mercy.
And I just wanted to say that this video, one of the things that in searching video to go with music is I always travel with my camera now. So this video has footage from Israel, from Mount St. Helens out in Washington, from Idaho, from, let's see, I think there's some in New Hampshire in there. So just finding water that does the right things and that intrigues me. And
Doesn't it always?
Yeah, I love water, and you'll recognize the fact that most of my videos contain water, which have such amazing movement in them.
Well, let's talk about your next one, Waves.
Yeah, so Waves is the next video that I want to show, and that one is also filmed all over the place, and it's called The Benediction of the Wave. And so in some of it is using the names that she has given music,
Right.
but then she's named it for a reason, because that's what it sounds like.
The waves sound like a benediction to her.
Yeah, and it sounds like waves. I mean, the music itself just sounds like waves just coming and going on the beach. And she and I both grew up on the Connecticut shoreline, listening to waves.
Okay, well, let's all listen to Waves together. Yes, that was Benediction of the Waves?
Benediction of the Waves, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we were, now as we sort of move through, I guess we're moving chronologically, right, through your association with Barbara?
Yeah, actually, through my work with making the video, yeah. So we've sort of, at this point, I've got enough video put together, it's like, okay, we can do a concert.
Yes.
And so then it's what music do you want to do in a concert? So we sort of had to agree on, yes, I could make video to that, and yes, this was what she as a musician wanted to put together into a piece and all of that. So we had to collaborate. That's probably our biggest collaboration piece is, okay, if we're going to do a concert, what do we do?
Right.
So one of the pieces that I really wanted to make video to is called Full Moon. And Full Moon doesn't move very much. You know, so
no.
And it's a 25-minute video, a 22-minute video, something, and so it's really my most abstract video that I've done so far. It took me about 3 months to get all the pieces, and I had elements that I threw in and threw out, and part of it comes, I filmed the full moon a couple of times, and came up with some interesting pieces just from filming that. But then I also ended up with, I had filmed footage of water on a lake in the early morning with all the sun glinting off of it, and tried to edit video with that and got myself seasick. And I'm not terribly seasick, so I was like, no, you couldn't actually watch this as it is right now.
Right.
And then discovered that it worked really well with full moon. So what we're going to do right now, I want to show you some of the source tape that I used, little clips that I used in order to get footage, create footage for full moon, and then after that we'll watch the video itself.
Okay, great. Well, then let's watch full moon.
Tell me what you want. Yeah, that's what you want.
So we're actually, there's no sound with this because I knew what the footage was for. So there's no sound to go with this. Yes, this is a spider, and the spider had built his nest overnight. The nest was the web was about 3 feet across. He's a good 3/4 inch spider. So I set up my camera, and the web is waving in the wind, in the little breeze. So this is a problem. But he had caught a yellow jacket, and so I got to have the fun of filming him. I probably have about a good 15 minutes of what does a spider do with a yellow jacket.
Makes mincemeat out of it.
Yeah.
Wraps it up for later.
But very slowly, actually, which is what's sort of interesting. So, as a biology major, I am just intrigued with all of those sorts of things.
And that was part of the source video for full moon.
For full moon, right?
Okay.
Right, and then we're gonna. And this will continue. He's like,
Ew.
and in the concert, you see this, and you see the spider, parts of the spider thing, and it's on a 24-foot by 20-foot screen. So yeah, it's kind of big.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole scary element to full moon, and her music brought that out, and so I needed to create some of that, and just because we all sort of like have all this little full moon, like, okay, what happens when it's a full moon? And
It brings up scary stuff.
it brings up scary stuff, and so you have to actually come to the concert to see the resolution at the other end.
Right.
But it brings up.
Now you said you did a lot of. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You said you did a lot of processing to this. Are we going to see any of the?
Yeah, we'll see a little bit of the spider, but here's the water effects
Okay.
that I did, and this is just straight the way it was filmed with the camera, and using a little bit of digital effect inside the camera, and it's sort of interesting to use digital effect in the camera versus trying to do it all on the computer, because sometimes the effect, like I didn't know what this effect would do, so I just flipped it on the camera,
Right.
and there it was, and that's what it created. And okay, so you film that for a little bit, and then you change the effect, and you move around, and a lot of the things I had to do with the camera was make it not look like water, slow it down. There's a lot of speed variation, so you don't get seasick. And it changes, and you're sort of, I'm blindly moving the camera around.
Yeah. Oh, I'm feeling queasy.
Are you?
No.
Close your eyes. It's okay.
Neat.
Yeah, and I found that it created cool celestial moments. And here, if you watch this, you can see here's the solid. Oops.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
There, I feel better.
And then when I was filming the full moon, one of the effects that you see a couple of times in the video, which is really hard to see here, it actually becomes 3 moons. And the reason that it becomes 3 moons is because I was using a polarized lens on it. So you can just barely see it in that closed picture. And then doing some layover effects, which is really part of the whole Final Cut, being able to do layers so that I can put one moon on top of another. I can decide, I can do layers of pictures and decide how they blend to each other. And so some of the blending was so that they would add to each other and some to subtract, and they add black lines around things that wouldn't otherwise have black lines. So some of it is just layers and layers of film. I mean, certainly a video I would never be able to reproduce.
Oh yeah, here we go. Now we're talking about those layers.
Yeah. So
And
those are some multiple layers in there.
And Final Cut is Final Cut is a program that's available for the Macintosh, right? It's not a Windows
Right. It's not.
program,
It's Macintosh program.
right? And they teach you how to use it here at SCAT.
Yep.
So there's the plug.
Yep. It's
for
Final
SCAT.
Cut. Final Cut is is SCAT based. It's what most of the professionals use. And really, the transition from, if you saw Flamingos at the beginning, using a VHS camera and using linear editing and sort of cut.
Right. Dropouts on the tape and all that. Kind of thing.
And all of that stuff. And for me, really being able to get onto a computer and do my computer editing has really been such a huge difference in trying to create really fun, interesting video that you really want to watch.
Yeah.
So let's watch a little
the next
segment of
piece.
Full Moon.
Oh, okay. Now we're seeing the
Now we're going to
more
see
of the
now
finished
we're going to see
product.
some of the edited together. This is the beginning of the actual video.
Okay.
If they can find it.
If they can find it.
They have to go and find it. But the concert has. It starts with a piece that I filmed in Jordan at Petra, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world, which is this amazingly beautiful city carved out of stone.
Oh. Isn't that where like they say like the holy? It's where they.
Well,
the Holy Grail in Indiana
Jones is
Right.
actually filmed in part of that.
Yeah.
And she has one song called "Entrance of the Illumined Ones into the Holy City," and so I was like, "That's it." That's what that has to be for.
Right.
And then there's a whole bunch that she has that I've never, that I have some other ideas. The next concert will be more abstract than this one, which is mostly some pretty literal pieces. But I think he's ready. Is he ready? Okay, not quite yet.
All right. So no, not quite yet.
No, he's finding it.
All right. Still
There we
working on
go.
it. Still
We're
working.
gonna find it here. And so it's fun. It's a fun. When we did the concert, people really clapped and applauded, but were also mesmerized. I mean, they sat there when intermission started and nobody got up. It was really interesting.
And that was full moon.
That was full moon.
Or a bit of full moon.
Parts of the full moon.
Parts of full moon.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not a video I could reproduce from scratch again.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, you said it would be almost impossible to do that.
Yeah. You just put stuff on, and some of it is about changing color and making the animals look like they're in full moon and not full daylight, and other just other things. I don't even know all the things that were on it. I actually had to rebuild it twice because I didn't understand how to store my render files correctly, so I actually almost blew my computer up making that one.
Well, I felt that was the first one I've seen where you were, as you call it, you're more one of your most abstract pieces, and for me it was more where you were actually commenting on the moon, because as you said, the moon doesn't really move much. It's kind of simple, but then you sort of brought in all these meanings of the moon, and you brought in all this footage from all these different places that sort of brought meaning to the moon, like the crocodile. And you told me, where's the crocodile from?
The crocodile is actually from South Carolina.
Uh-huh.
My mom and I went to an animal sanctuary, so he is in fact a wild crocodile who was sitting by the side of the road. And I got my camera out and I set it all up, and I made my mom drive the car down the road so that he would jump into the water. And so he has that. It is interesting when you watch the raw footage of some of them. You know, it's hard to make zoo animals look like they're eyeing you the same way that wild animals do. And that crocodile placing his eye right between those two reeds is just sort of a very eerie sort of thing. But I was thrilled to get that, because that was, you either got it or you didn't get it. He wasn't going to crawl up on the bank again and let us take a second take.
Yeah, whereas a zoo animal would be wondering when the next feeding was.
Which is part of the fun about doing nature video. And one of the other songs that I am not showing a clip of is called Sanctuary, which is all about birds flying. I mean, the whole music is just, it's birds flying around. And so what I did, and it's another little more of a story than some of them. And I have white egrets nesting and feeding their babies, and the great blue herons out here on Route 2. There's a nest site in Massachusetts. Yeah.
Where?
Just out past 128 on Route 2.
Yeah.
Or just before it, I forget. But one of my clients told me about it, and so I have all this footage of.
Can you see that from the bike path?
You can see it from Route 2. You probably can from the bike path.
Okay.
I haven't tried because I haven't taken my camera and tripod out.
There's a big marsh area over there.
Yeah. And so I have this whole footage of the great blue herons and the baby blue herons who are this tall. I mean, they're enormous babies. And their wings are flapping, and they're sort of these dangly things that are useless. And then I have a little segment that's the mama teaching baby loons how to dive, and that was up in Vermont at my brother's cabin up on Joe's Pond, looking down. There they were, sitting in front of the house, and so okay, I'll film that. So some of it is just film footage because you're out looking at nature and you might as well turn the camera on when cool things are happening, and then sorting it out to put it places and having it fit in, and so it's been really fun and exciting.
Right. I mean, now she's probably making music, thinking of video.
No, she really still has. She's on a trajectory, and she's making her fifth CD, about to record her fifth CD actually, and she's writing music for her sixth CD. I mean, she has a master's degree in concert piano performance from Juilliard.
Right.
And she performs classical music all the time.
And of course, she has a website.
And she has a website. Yes, yes, she does have a website. Bach Piano, BACH piano.com. It's on the TV right now. And she uses Bach because those are in fact her initials. Barbara A. Chalkupa Herrick. So, and you could never say all of that. It's like, how do you say all of those words anyway?
Yes.
So Bach, and she has one of her CDs is Bach Plays Bach.
And what let's promote the concert one more time.
Yeah. So the concert is Saturday night, April 8th.
Right.
And it's at 8 o'clock at Somerville High School.
Okay.
And we're going to play, I have a 24-foot by 20-foot screen that we're going to play all the video on, and she's going to play the piano live. And it's
Bach
interesting
live.
how Bach live. It's interesting how all of that comes out, and it makes the videos in fact different than they are on the CD.
Yeah.
My sister had watched all the CDs, and she came to our concert we did in Connecticut, and she helped me tech the video part. And so for her first time watching it on the giant screen and watching it with a live concert piano, she was like, oh, this isn't at all like the CD. The whole sound is different. Her music is very much based in overtones, which don't record particularly well. Mm-hmm. So hearing her live is in fact a very different thing. So what we're gonna close out with this other video, the Rose Petal Afternoon, that will also be part of the concert.
Okay.
And it's just a light piece, and the pictures actually I had filmed and put together all of the flowers and sort of made a video, and I knew I wanted to put old pictures over it. And my nephew showed up with this CD that my mother had gotten from some other side of my father's family, and and there were 500 photos on it. And so out of it, I selected all these photos to just sort of float across for Rose Petal Afternoon.
For Rose Petal Afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great talking to you about your art with Barbara, and very good luck on your show on Saturday.
Well, thank you, Rich. It's been great to have you come in and talk to me about it.
Yeah, thanks. Well, here's Rose Petal Afternoon, and thanks for watching Dead Air Live.